This young man hails in Summersville, South Carolina. When I first started going to South Carolina, he asked me to come out there to Summersville, and we got in his car and we rode up and down that highway. I mean, we rode it up and down. We wore out set of tires, go up and down that highway, going to small towns, big towns, medium-sized towns between there and the state capital. And I mean, we went down back roads, side roads. We pulled off at gas station to show the plan. We went to this little one air store this guy had, and nobody spoke English. Did a presentation in there. Got in the car, rode. We would ride up and down that highway till midnight doing presentations. And I figured I'd have met my match. Somebody who understands working sun up to sundown. And we didn't eat until we decided we had to eat, because we didn't do anything until we deserved to eat. And I tell you what, he's the poster child for working hard and understand how to put it in to get where he wants to go in life. And I want to thank him for that. Him and his lovely wife, they're great leaders out in the Summersville, South Carolina area. I just want to thank him for coming back with some great training today. We had him about a month ago. So without further ado, for them starting us off on the first Tuesday in the month of April, can we give a warm welcome to none other than Mr. Curtis Evans, Regional Director.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for that warm introduction. I really appreciate being here today. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about a few things, and I want to run them by you because we all go through what we all go through. Everybody goes through different things at different times in their life, and I think really you have people that are born and everybody's happy, people that die, everybody's sad. You have just all kind of things. People getting married, it's just a lot when we go through life. Having kids, raising kids, and as you start to learn that most kids are who they are by the time they're 7. That's what the therapists tell us, that by the time they're 7, they're who they are. And so really, in a lot of cases, we waste a lot of time trying to talk to somebody or trying to get somebody to understand what we understand or see things the way we see things. We spend a lot of time trying to convince. When I got into multi-level marketing, network marketing with this company, I understood after the first time that there is no talking somebody into something. What they believe is what they believe, okay? If people believe they're going to be poor, they're probably going to be poor. It's a mindset. It's a choice, okay? In the old days, you had much choice. And I say old days, it was way before my time. We lived in an agricultural type environment. Everybody on the planet grew food. Everybody had a farm. They grew food for themselves, and anything extra, they sold it or bartered it off. You had a lot of tomatoes, a lot of potatoes. You would barter them off for some help with something else or some food or something else. Everybody farmed. And so opportunities weren't there. There never was a lot of opportunities on this planet until just recently when the Industrial Revolution came by. And now we're in the information age. And now there's lots and lots of opportunities. But I was born a long, long, long time ago, and I was brought up to be an employee, okay? If you think long and hard about who brought you up, who raised you, and they probably told you, I don't know who raised you, but they probably told you to go get a good education and find a good job and stay on that job until you retire. That model, since I was born in 54, a long time ago, that model does not work anymore. There's a good chance, that if you got a very, very good education, that the job that you get won't pay for that education. Let me give you a good education, a 4-year degree. You got a 4-year degree and you got $100,000, $200,000 student loan that you can't get rid of. Now let's talk about something called scams and pyramids, because people love to throw this out. I need you to really smile when somebody says pyramid. And when they say pyramid, just tell them, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And this is what I found. Sometimes we go to arguing with people. That's something you don't need to do. Do not argue with them, because you need to meet them where they are. Because that's what I felt one point in time. At some point in time, somebody would show me a plan like this. I would have had in my brain, that's impossible for somebody to make $50,000, $60,000, $80,000. It's impossible. A year, a month, it's impossible. And so I know how you feel. I was raised to get as an employee, and I was raised to try to get a job for 40, 50, 60, 100,000 a year. If you got 100,000 a year, 6 figures, you were doing something. Nowadays, it's not what it used to be. So I want to ask you, If you were raised that way, just acknowledge it. If you acknowledge it, then you can say this. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But let me show you what I found. In other words, when you hear someone say, I can't seem to get ahead. I can't seem to move. I can't seem to get ahead. These are people that you're peaking now. Okay. If you hear somebody say that, that's a sign that they don't know which way to go, and you can help them. Okay. So whenever you sit down and show them the plan, they say it's a pyramid. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And this, so we have the unique ability to do what? We're going to be around a long time. We've been around 30 years. We're on our 31st year. And they've been paying bonus checks for 30 years. They've been paying residual checks once a month for 30 years. They've been paying bonus checks once a week for 30 years. And that's because the services that we have are services that people use way. If they're involved with the company, great. If they're not involved with the company, great. They're going to pay these bills. Now that made sense to me. Okay. That made sense to me. So when you hear someone talk about the crazy, it's only because, and when I say that, they can't seem to get ahead in life, it's only because they don't have leverage. It's only them, just them. There's one person that works for them. They're the only person on their team. The only person on their team is them. And you can't get ahead. If you're sick this week and you can't work, you lost 40 hours, you're the only person on your team. Mr. Thomas gets sick next week. If something happens, you get a cold or whatever, he gets sick next week. He has a big team. And all the people on that list that I just showed you, they all have something in common. What do they have? Anybody? A big team. And so that's why he urges us to recruit, urges us to peak. Now, sometimes we don't like doing what he says, but guess what? He's telling us we got to go find some more people. We got to go find some more people. You got to go find some more people. So you have to what? Peak. And so your skills, the people that make that kind of money, they've overcome some objections, and most importantly, they learn some skills. Okay, we know that there's some people just want information. They don't need the hype. Some people want the hype. They don't need the information. Some people don't believe nothing you say. I don't care what it is. Okay, if you walked up to them and gave them $1,000, they give it back to you. Okay, so there are all kinds of people in the world. All kinds of people in the world. I had a guy in an old business that I'll tell you, it was in Excel Communications. I don't like to talk about old companies, but it was in Excel Communications. And this guy decided that he wasn't going to do this. I mean, he tried all of an hour and it didn't work. So he wasn't rich an hour later. He said, I'm not going to do this. I said, well, if you're not going to do it, why don't you get your money back? He said, get your money back. I said, yeah, write a letter to this. I gave him an address. I said, write a letter, they'll send your money back. Okay. Now, it cost $590 for us to start in that business. So the fastest way he could make money in that business at that time was to write a letter, a little short letter with his name and all that on it, and send it into the address I gave him with a stamp for, back in the day, there were 20 cent a stamp or something. Put a stamp on it, send it in, and in a skinny minute, he would make $590, right? And he would get his money back. I met him 2 or 3 months later at a gas station. I remember like yesterday. And he said, hey, how you doing? I said, yeah, great, man. And he said, are you still in that thing? I said, yeah, I'm still in that thing. Thing paying me good. How you doing? He said, well, you're good. I ain't got time to talk now. I'm on the way to work. I said, okay. Did you get your money back? He said, no, I ain't never messed with it. I ain't never messed with it. All he had to do is write a little letter and send to get the $509 back. So so people, there are all kinds of people and they're complaining all the time. But you saw the salaries that were out there on the board, and we have some huge salaries coming out of this business. The biggest advantage our business has over the rest of those companies that I showed you is we have residual income. That's the heart of what we do. We're working this business hard because not only do we get bonus checks, but you get a residual check every month. That's huge. So first of all, I want you to be convinced. I want you convinced that this is the right business, because if you're not convinced, you're gonna have a hard time talking to somebody about it. If you're not thoroughly convinced that you're in the right business, one, it pays bonus checks every week, right? We want to get as many IBOs in, get them qualified so that they can go make money. And if you can teach them how to get qualified, that'll teach them how to go get other people qualified. You can make money in this business while you have your job. And at some point, you're going to be really, really happy. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you just for a second. I know this is a lot, but for you guys, it's not. A new person doesn't need to go through this, okay? But I know this is a lot, but it's very, very important that you understand the compensation plan. It's very, very, very important that you understand the compensation plan. So let's go through and listen to why this is important. You want to know why some people take off really fast? Is they got a feel for the compensation plan. Our job is to help them get to ETL. So let's listen to this real quickly.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Koopas, and I'm one of the co-founders of ACN. Before I get started, I would like to ask you all a question. Have you ever wondered what separated those individuals who create huge businesses for themselves and everybody else? You know, the ones we all hear about, the stories, those people that create incredible incomes, amazing lifestyles. What do they do different? Now, we all know that there's many factors that goes into success. But I can tell you that one thing that all top performers in ACN have in common is that they took the time to learn and clearly understand the ACN compensation plan. Now, why is that? There's many reasons. But first of all, the more you understand it, the more motivated you're going to be about your business that you're building in the beginning, in the middle, and especially long term. The second thing is you to fully optimize what this plan can offer you. There's going to be some minimum requirements that you must achieve, and there's going to be some goals that you're going to choose to achieve. So the more you understand the plan, the more you can focus your efforts, you can optimize your time, and you can hit your goals more quickly. So I'm going to spend time sharing with you now the ACN compensation plan. So let's get started. When you look at the plan, the way I'd like to tell people to think of this is think of it as your business plan. We all heard that to have a successful business, you should follow a successful business plan. So here's your goals. When you get started, you're considered an IBO, you got your online store set up. Now you're able to get customers and start building a team. So what do? Just follow this plan. Your first goal is to become CQ. That stands for customer qualified. Then after you achieve that, set your next goal. To ETL, that's executive team leader, then RC, regional coordinator, RD, regional director, and the top two earned positions in ACN is regional vice president and senior vice president. Now, a couple things happen when you move to the right. Number one, your business is growing, and number two, your compensation is increasing. So as your business is growing and you get these promotions, we're actually paying you more on the business that you're building as an incentive to move to the right.
All right, so what he's telling us here is that we need to really look at what do we got to do to get from one side of this, IBO, Kieran just signed up into the business and he is already qualified as a CQ. So this is where we want him to be. His next promotion level is going to be the ETL, okay? And that's where we're going to get him. Now, if he chooses to keep working with us, keep going, his next goal is going to become to be the RC, regional coordinator, and then RD. All I want to do today is talk about the power of being an RD, okay? Because you want to make a lot of money. And what you got to do is fly through this right here, fly through it. And when you show somebody the plan, make sure that they thoroughly understand, where they're going, because they don't know about being an IBO. So a lot of people never went to training, so they don't know about the power of being a CQ. They don't understand the beauty of an ETL, creating lots of ETLs to grow. And they certainly know this is a super position they just put in, this RC position. It's a great, great, great position because a lot of times people had a hard time getting from ETL to RD. So they stuck this in so that people can get somewhere and they can start making a really good income. The co-founders did this, okay? And then we want to get over here to RD, okay? RD is where I'm currently at. I'm a little frustrated because right now I got some things cleared off my plate, so now I can start working toward going over to RVP. And if frustration is not a bad thing. Being frustrated, fire yourself and hire yourself back tomorrow. Fire yourself and hire yourself back next week. We do it all the time. We get to a spot, shake it off, like Taylor Swift says, shake it off and move it on to the next position. And here we go. This is the position I want to talk to you because your ultimate goal right now is to get over to this position. And then when you get there, you finally figured out how to get there. It's not that difficult. Once you figure out, all you need is 3 of these, okay? 3 of these and you're there. A few of these and you're here, okay? So 3 RCs, you got 200 points each, and you're an RD. So you got to help some people, and you got to find people that want to be helped. So this is RD position right here. Now let's talk about that because this is an attainable position. Attainable position.
So first of all, how do you achieve RD? First of all, it's just like RC, it's just more. When you have a total of 600 customer points between you and your team, and you need at least 15 of those customer points yourself, and then we'll let you count up to 200 customer points in any one team. Once you've done that, congratulations, you've just earned the position of regional director, okay? Now, let's talk about this position. When you hit regional director, you get paid more, you get paid better. But check this out. This is what's got to, I get excited sharing this with all of you, okay? So here you are, you became an RD. So the minute you get promoted to RD, when you introduce new IBOs to the business and they get their first 3 customers in the first 30 days of their start date, instead of $150, that now gets increased to $250 through unlimited levels of new IBOs joining your business. And until you get to your first ETL or to your ETLs, right? Like I showed you before, in your previous position, you can see you earned $100 as an overriding cab over your ETLs. That now increases to $200 over all and unlimited levels of your ETLs. And remember the previous position, if you had an RC in your organization, you didn't earn bonuses over your RCs, but guess what? As an RD, you do. That now goes to $100. So let me stop here. This is considered your RD open. That means nobody in your team has reached the same position as you, regional director. That means that every single person in your organization, no matter what level it is, you know, if you have RCs, if you have ETLs, if you have new IBOs you're working with, doesn't matter. Every single person that joins your business, when they get their first 3 customers in 30 days of their start date, you're earning $100, $200, or $250 on each and every single one of them. So this is the position you get paid extremely well to lead and to help other people. And guess what? RD is so much better than RC and all the other positions. You're going to have people that are going to run for this position too as well, which you want. If you have somebody that also reaches RD in your team, this is the first position that it does not go to 0 when somebody reaches the same level as you. We call this a generational bonus. So imagine you're an RD somewhere, somebody on your team also became an RD. When they do, you will still continue to get a $100 override on every new person joining their business who gets their first 3 customers in the first 30 days of their start date. Now just freeze and look at this. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what could possibly get you excited. If you're an RD, imagine I'm an RD and I'm on your team. I'm getting paid the same bonuses you are on the team I'm building, and you're still getting a $100 override on everyone in my team who's getting their first 3 customers. So as an RD, if you have an RD in any one of your teams, that's okay. If you have a bunch of RCs, a bunch of ETLs, IBOs, you're making anywhere from $100 to as high as $250 on every single new person joining your business when they get their first 3 customers in 30 days of their start date. So how much momentum would you like to see created at this level? I will tell you this, your first goal, get yourself to RD as soon as you can. Okay, get promoted. You want to get that promotion, but more important, you want to build a healthy business. How many new IBOs are joining your team? That are getting customers every day, every week, every month? So get yourself to RD, create momentum. Then you can set your sights on the top 2 positions, RVP and SVP.
I hope that get you excited, because listen, this money is set for everybody out there. So find out what you got to do to get to RD. Find out what do I have to do to get to RD, so that once I get to RD, I can go out and help some people do very, very, very well. And you want them working toward that same position as well. So that kind of gives you a snapshot. And we're going to be talking about compensation plans. We're going to be talking about the difference between a job, J-O-B, and our compensation plan. I want you to thoroughly, after this month, it's 4 weeks, you thoroughly understand the difference between a J-O-B, where somebody can tap you on the shoulder and say, we just don't need you no more. We bought this new piece of equipment. Someone bought the company. We don't like the way you look at me. I don't like the way you look at him. We don't like what we saw yesterday. Whatever the problem comes up, you want to be an RD and have a real healthy business. And then you'll be really, really happy when the day comes and you have to leave, if you should decide to leave that job. So that's all I have for today, Mr. Thomas. I'm going to turn the floor back over to you, sir.